Nick thought that the Patriots were going to win it all last year.
Super Bowl 53. You and Chandler in Old Hall, you guys called the Patriots are awful. What are you talking about? And I said, okay, we have to
They
have hope in
were
the best team in the
awful.
league. According to Chandler, what are you talking about?
I never said they're going to win it all.
I
They're going to be
I think they're barely going to miss the playoffs. That's what I'm saying.
I think
Nick,
they're going to
aren't
make
you the
it.
kid who picked Texas A&M to win our March Madness bracket a couple
And they
years ago?
got to the Sweet 16 that year.
Wow, Nick, that's great.
How's it going, everybody, and welcome to the 5th episode of the Nosebleeds Podcast, where today we will be discussing the NHL's plan to return to hockey. My name is Nick Antonakis, and I am lucky to be joined by Tommy Peterson and Chris Scambis today. We will be discussing our thoughts on the NHL's plan. So how's it going, guys?
Yeah, thanks.
All right, so let's just start with what our overall thoughts are about the plan. If you don't already know what it is, go check it out on NHL.com. Basically, it's just a 2014 playoff format. So what are your guys' initial thoughts on the plan?
I like it. You know, it kind of eliminates controversy, and then it gives way for more matchups. You know, and it creates more rivalries. You know, that's definitely one thing that will make fans want to watch, and yeah.
Yeah, I like it. Like Tommy said, it eliminates controversy. So, you know, any teams that had the chance or weren't initially going to make it, but said, you know, could have complained that said that, you know, with the remaining games, they could have made it. Kind of eliminates that because now they still have the chance.
I agree with you guys. I like it because having these extra teams in, like, for example, the Blackhawks, we have the Canadians, we have the Rangers. These are all teams who are kind of on the lower ends of their conference. And if this was the regular season, this would be like the point in the year where they would be like, okay, this is kind of the point to start tanking so we can move up in the draft a little bit, stuff like that. But now that they're in and playing for something, they have a chance at the Stanley Cup. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys kind of have that extra motivation behind every time they step on the ice. So I like the format. I was kind of disappointed that some people didn't like it, but I'm just happy to be back to hockey.
Yeah.
All right, so out of these 24 teams who are in, we have some pretty interesting matchups in the qualifying rounds. Why don't you guys list off a couple of matchups that you're excited and looking forward to?
I like the Pittsburgh and Montreal. They're both two teams that are usually in the playoffs almost every year. And I just like having, you know, Crosby back in the playoffs and going up against, you know, Carey Price and Canadians. I think that's a really good matchup. And it's one that I'd like to see come out and really have a lot of viewers, you know.
Yeah. Another 5 seed and 12 seed matchup. I liked the Oilers and Blackhawks because, you know, the Oilers having McDavid and Draisaitl, and then the Blackhawks with Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews. I think, you know, it's going to be a nice like matchup for them. Yeah.
One matchup that I'm kind of looking forward to is the Rangers and the Carolina Hurricanes. I was big on the Rangers at the start of the year when they signed Artemi Panarin, and they got Trouba from the Jets. And I really like their offense. They have a dynamic offense. Panarin's has been having a hell of a year so far. And I would honestly like to see maybe if the Rangers actually decide to start Henrik Lundqvist, get him some games, give him a chance to actually go after the Cup. That would be good to see because he definitely deserves a Cup, and I don't know why the Rangers aren't starting him.
Yeah, the career he's had, I'm kind of shocked they're not starting him either.
Yeah.
All right, so now do we kind of want to move into like a brief kind of predictions? So for this, we'll just assume that the first, second, third, whatever, all the way to the Stanley Cup except the qualifying round will be best of 7 series. Because the NHL has not yet decided whether there'll be 5 and 7, whatever. But we do know that the qualifying round will be 5-game series. So we can start, and we'll just do a very like broad predictions. We don't need to go too in depth with each one because there's a lot of matchups. So we can start with the Western Conference. Who do you guys have? Flames and Jets in 5.
I'm going Jets.
Really?
Yeah, I really like. I think Connor Hellebuck's gonna steal a game or two, and yeah, I think getting the puck past him is gonna be a tough task for the Flames.
Yeah, I got the Flames. I love Johnny Gaudreau, BC guy, and I think it's going to be close no matter what. They're both good teams. They're pretty evenly matched, but I think the Flames would come out on top.
Yeah, I agree with Chris. I feel like the Flames offense is just too good to pass up on. They have Monahan, they have Gaudreau, like you said, Kachuk, who's been on the rise. So yeah, even though they've kind of had like some iffy plays and goal, I feel like the Flames is kind of their year to prevail. And then we have the Oilers and the Blackhawks. Who do you guys have?
I think the Oilers are going to come out of this one. I think this is really where McDavid and Draisaitl are really going to show and like how good they really are. And I think they're going to steal the show in this series.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the Blackhawks here, just because
my God.
I really like the Blackhawks. I think that if they play well in a 5-game series, I think they can come out on top. But the Oilers are going to be tough to come, through. But I think they're one of the best teams in the league right now. But still, I think the Blackhawks have a chance.
I'm going to go with Tommy here. I'm going to say the Oilers. Even though I do like the Blackhawks, I do like Kane and Taves. Maybe they can come away with a game, maybe 2, push this thing to 5. But I can't see the Oilers losing this one, despite if they just pull like a choke or something. McDavid and Draisaitl are just too good. They're going to carry them out of the first round.
Not as much experience, though, too. That's kind of a factor, I think.
Yeah, that is true. But I feel like McDavid's had enough time sitting on the sidelines. He's just ready to actually make a run for the cup.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got Canucks and we got Wild.
I like the Canucks in this series. I really like what Quinn Hughes has done for that team, and I really think that it's going to be a tight series. I think it's going to go 5 games, but I'm picking the Canucks for this one. Yeah,
I'm going to have to agree. I like the Canucks too. The Quinn Hughes is really helping their defensive game, so they're going to be tough to go by. And the Wild are pretty good too, but I think the Canucks would have that one.
Yeah, I will agree with you guys and go with the Canucks. Not only is Quinn Hughes proven to be a really good asset for the Canucks team, but also Pettersson has been leading their offense. He's been really good for them. So give the Canucks a shot to move on in the playoffs. And then we have Predators and we have the Coyotes. Who do you guys got?
I like the Predators in this one. I think they have a good all around team. Obviously, they went to the Stanley Cup a few years ago, so and not too much has changed with their team, and I really like them in the series. And it's also 6 seed against 11 seed, so I really like them coming out of this.
Yeah, I think the Predators are a really good team. Pecorino in goal, who I think he's really good. Yossi in defense. They got Duchesne now this year, right? So I think they're pretty good. I think I don't think that one should be a problem. I think they should go by them easily.
I'm gonna go with the Coyotes. I just feel like they have a talented team. They were getting some assets throughout the year. I feel like they didn't have enough time to just put it all together and make a run. But they traded. Most people I forget about this sometimes too, but they traded for Taylor Hall. This is a guy who was an MVP. Yep. I think it was either last year or the year before. He was the MVP for the NHL. So he's amazing. They also have Phil Kessel, who they picked up. I feel like these guys can kind of just bring together a good enough team to beat the Predators in the first round. I don't know if it's going to come too much past that, but I feel like Taylor Hall can do some special things for this team.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just go majority rules. So we'll go Flames, Oilers, Canucks, and Predators. And then we'll move to the Eastern Conference, where we have the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Columbus Blue Jackets.
I like the Maple Leafs in this one. You got Matthews and Tavares up front with Anderson in goals, so I think that their offense is really lethal, and, they pushed the Bruins to Game 7 2 years in a row. So, and, I really think that they'll come out of this series against the Blue Jackets and hopefully play the Bruins in another series.
Yeah, I got to go with the Maple Leafs too. I think they're a great team, and they kind of just get screwed every year by the Bruins. But Matthews, Tavares, Nylander, I think Mitch Marner is a big threat. He's underrated. And yeah, I think they shouldn't have a problem either. But I think they're going to end up playing the Bruins too later on in the next round.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I have to go with the Maple Leafs as well. Even though they were struggling somewhat at the beginning of the regular season, I feel like they could, like you guys said, they're just too good to lose to the Blue Jackets, who have lost more than they've gained since last year. So, yeah, I'll go Maple Leafs as well. Then we have the Penguins and we have the Canadiens.
I like Pittsburgh in this series. I just don't really think Montreal has what it takes to get past the Penguins. Penguins, you get Malkin, Crosby, Hornquist, and Matt Murray in goals, who won the Stanley Cup 2 years ago. So I really think that, Montreal just isn't as skilled as Pittsburgh is, and I think I see them coming out of the series.
Yeah, I like the Penguins also. I think, after winning two times in a row, they kind of just fell off. I don't know why. But I think that if they really get a chance at the Cup, I think that after all the experience and everything too, they'll have a good run.
I agree with you guys there. I'm also going to go with the Penguins. Even though I feel like Carey Price can give the Canadiens a run for their money, kind of maybe even push this thing to 5 games, I feel like like you guys said, the Penguins are too good to lose to the Canadiens in this one.
Yeah.
And then we have a rematch from a couple years back, the Islanders and the Florida Panthers. Who do you guys got?
I'm going Islanders. Again, they have playoff experience. Panthers haven't really been there last couple of years. So I think that their experience will help them in these first few games back. And so, yeah, I really think that will be a big part of the series. And, yeah, I see them coming out of this.
Yeah, I'm going to think that this one's going to go to 5, I think. And I like Florida. Why not? Because they got Ekblad and Huberdeau. I think they're pretty good. But, yeah, I'm not sure. That one's going to be tight. I think that one would go to 5.
I'm going to go on a limb here, and I'm going to agree with Chris. I also have the Panthers winning that series. I feel like Bobrovsky, with this time off, can come back stronger than ever. And I feel like he can kind of help lift this team above getting out of the first round for a year. Even though I do agree this series is going to be wicked tight. The Islanders are a good team. I feel like the Panthers also have a really good offense. And along with Bobrovsky, I feel like they can kind of propel past the Islanders this time around.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have, for the last qualifying round matchup, we have the Hurricanes, we have the New York Rangers. Who do you guys got?
This is going to be shocking, but I think I like the Rangers in this. Panarin I think he can carry that team, a lot. And then if they put Henrik Lundqvist in goal, I think that, he has a lot of experience. He knows how to play in big matchups and big games like that. And when you have a offensive weapon like Panarin up front, I think that's going to be tough for the Hurricanes to stop.
Yeah, that one's going to be a tough one, but I'm still going to have to go with the Hurricanes with Sebastian Aho at center. And I think he's going to be kind of tough to stop. And then they still, Justin Williams is getting on the older side, but he still does some damage. And I think it'll be close. I could see Rangers too, but I just like the Hurricanes in that scenario.
I am going to go with the New York Rangers to win this one. I'm going to agree with Tommy. Not only am I high on Artemi Panarin, but they also won the regular season series. I think they won it 4-0, something like that. They beat the Rangers. I know they won the regular season series. They either won it 3-1 or 4-0, something like that. So I feel like they have the Hurricanes number. And I think that maybe the Rangers can pull something out of the bag here and come out with a first-round win, especially maybe if they start Lundqvist and he has that motivation to finally get a Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
All right, so we'll go with majority rules again. We have the Maple Leafs, the Penguins. Did we pick the Panthers? I picked the Panthers. Yeah, Panthers and the Rangers. So we'll just decide really fast who in each conference finishes 1, 2, 3, and 4, because the top 4 teams in each conference will play a round robin to decide who gets what seed and who will play who in the first round of the playoffs. So we'll start with the East. I'm gonna say Bruins go number 1. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, you got to go with it.
Yeah. So Bruins at number 1. Just throw out your ideas. What do you guys think at number 2?
I think the
Yeah, Capitals.
Capitals? I was gonna say Lightning, but I'll go with the Capitals at number 2. Do you think Lightning at number 3?
Yeah, I would
Or
say.
Flyers? Yeah. Okay. So Lightning at number 3, and then Flyers at number 4.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in the West, I'll have to go Blues number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sure.
I kind of want to say Avalanche number 2. What do you guys think?
I say Dallas.
Dallas?
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
think.
Tyler Seguin.
But I love Sagan. Anyone, Nick knows especially. I'm a big Sagan guy, but I think they're dangerous though. They're not even just Sagan. I mean,
They are good.
Yeah, they got a good team. But I see the Knights going.
Oh my! We're 3-way on this
too. But
this is going to be a tight. I mean, if I had to pick either the Knights or the Stars, I would have to go with the Stars.
All right, Stars 2.
And then Avalanche or Knights, who do you think is going to finish higher?
I say Knights. If Fleury can be as unstoppable as he was that first year and get back, then they're pretty tough to get by.
Yeah, Fleury and Carlson. I really like them. Carlson, can put the puck in the net, and if Fleury is on his game, he can be really tough to, to score on. And so that's what I think. If he really is on his game, I think that they'll be a really good team.
All right, yeah, I'll go with you guys. I'll say the Knights get number 3, and then the Avalanche get number 4. All right, so we'll start with the West. So we have the Flames versus the Blues in a 7-game series. Who do we think is going to win it?
I think the Blues, Bennington and, their Stanley Cup team last year, I think they were really, really good. And, I like them beating the Flames.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Blues will beat them. They're on a high right now too after winning, so they have all the momentum going for them, and I think they'll beat them.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I feel like the Blues will come out of that one. Maybe a 6-game series. I don't see the Flames pushing it to 7. I just feel like the Blues are too good.
Yeah.
And then we have the Oilers versus the Avalanche. This will be a good one. Who do you guys have winning?
I'm going to say the Oilers. I'm really high on, McDavid and Draisaitl, and I really think that they can be lethal. And, Oilers were the 5 seeds, so, they're not, it's not like the 12 like the Blackhawks are. So I really like them. They can really push the series to Game 7. Maybe they can steal that Game 7 for the series victory.
Yeah, if the Oilers beat the Blackhawks and the young guys get going, I think they can beat the Avalanche too. So I'll go with the Oilers.
Yeah, we will go majority rules, but I would have picked the Avalanche. I feel like Nathan McKinnon is just on a tear right now. I feel like he's kind of too good to lose. I mean, even though he'll be matched up in a great matchup against McDavid, but I feel like McKinnon can outperform McDavid.
McDavid and Draisaitl are also on the tear right now.
I know, but I feel like McKinnon has a little bit more experience and can get the upper hand on them, especially McDavid. Just can kind of push him around, stuff like that. McKinnon's more of a physical player than McDavid, so
McDavid's fast though. Get by him.
I mean, yeah, I'll go with the Oilers just to have majority rules. But I mean, if I were to pick just me, I would say the Avalanche would win that one.
Yeah, I can see it.
It'll be a tight series though. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then we have the Canucks and the Stars. Who do you guys have?
I like the Stars in this one. Like Chris said, I think really Seguin can play a huge factor in this series. Ben Bishop, can solid in goal. And they went pretty deep in the playoffs last year with a good amount of the same guys. So I see them coming out of this series in like 5 or 6 games probably.
Yeah, and now they have Pavelski too, which is an addition. So Sagan, Pavelski, Jamie Ben Bishop in goal. And I think that they're going to be a force this year.
Yeah, I will agree with you guys. I'm going to go with the Stars. Like you guys said, they have just an absolutely stacked team. I kind of forgot about Pavelski, but I feel like he'll add a lot of playoff experience to that team, maybe to push them over the edge. So, I'll go Stars as well.
And a pretty good defense, too. I mean.
Yeah,
John Klingberg.
Yes, I love Klingberg.
Yeah.
He's really good. So, especially after a year of seasoning, I bet he can be even better than he was last year.
Yeah, they have a lot of depth. Sure.
And then we have the Predators and the Golden Knights.
I like the Knights in this one. I think if Fleury's on his game, he's a very tough goalie to beat. And you have Carlson up front who can put the puck in the net. So I see him being a big factor in this series. I see the Knights coming out of this. It will be tight though. I think it's going to go 7 games.
I agree it's going to be tight, but I'm going to have to go with Predators.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I still think, like I said in the first round, the addition of Duchesne now, he'll be up there with, Pecorine backing him up, and then Yossi at defense. Philip Forsberg's there too. Forgot about him. I think that they're going to be pretty good. The Knights still, how long has it been since they've been? 3 years now? Or more?
Yes, this will be their 3rd year since.
I still think, that even though they went to the Cup the first year, but they got some team building to go, and I think the Predators are going to go by.
I agree with you guys that it's going to be a tight series, but I don't see the Predators coming out with the win just because of the regular season that they had. They were barely sitting on a playoff spot there. So I'm going to have to go with the Golden Knights. Like we said before, Marc-Andre Fleury, a beast in net, as well as the offense that they have with Carlson. Riley Smith has been doing pretty well there as well. So
he's a good young player that, he has a lot of speed too with him.
Yeah, favorite goalie in the league, I think. So he'll be tough to get by, but I can see the Golden Knights for sure. I think it's a 7-game series.
Yeah, so we'll go Knights there. And then in the East, we have the Maple Leafs versus the Bruins for the 3rd year in a row. Oh my God! Or is it the 4th? Is it the 4th year in a row? No, 3rd year.
3rd year, yeah.
They play a lot.
I like the Bruins. Again, the Bruins are kind of coming off of last year's playoffs, and I really don't see. I like the way these teams match up. Char on either Tavares or Matthews with McAvoy taking the other one. So I really like the Bruins in this. They beat them the past 2 years, so I think this is. I mean, I don't see the Maple Leafs coming out of this series.
Yeah, every year. I mean, that's my favorite series, and I think, the Bruins are on that revenge tour. I think they're gonna be aggressive first of all, and they're gonna want to win it. So, I can't see the Bruins losing at all.
I could see the Maple Leafs winning, but I will go with the Bruins. But I'm just hoping that we don't play them because I feel like they're just going to be eyeing for revenge. Like they said last year, they said like, oh, this is the Maple Leafs year to finally get revenge on the Bruins. And then it wasn't. So I feel like this year is even more of a year to get revenge, especially with us winning the President's Trophy.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Both teams know each other well. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They go to 7 every year. So.
Yeah, and especially with the Bruins winning the President's Trophy, I feel like the Maple Leafs will be like, oh, why don't we just knock them off here and embarrass them? So I will go Bruins, but I hope it doesn't happen. Even if that means us not getting the number 1 seed, I would rather us get like the number 2 seed and not play the Maple Leafs. I don't know why. I'm nervous for them.
Yeah, and like I feel like the last 2 years, the Bruins has gotten the upper seed in the playoffs, and I think that the crowd really does play an influence in these games. So coming into Boston, Game 7, I mean that's a really tough atmosphere to come in and play. So that gives even more advantage to the Maple Leafs because they don't have those fans and they can kind of just play their game.
Yeah, for sure. I kind of forgot about that too. So
that's a really good point. Hopefully the atmosphere doesn't affect the outcome too much. But then we have the Penguins versus the Flyers. This will be a good matchup. City of the Battle of Pennsylvania. So who do you guys have?
I mean, I like the Penguins. That, Crosby in the playoffs, I think he's going to be really clutch for them. And I think he will play a lot. He'll play well with Patrick Hornquist up front. And then I like Matt Murray in goal. I think he'll turn his kind of around and be good for him.
Yeah, I'm kind of in between here. I'm going to say the Flyers just because, if they keep the momentum, because towards the end of the season, they were doing really good. I don't know what it was exactly, but they were on a big win streak. And Carter Hart in goal was doing really good. With, Giroux has a lot of experience up front. Kevin Hayes, too. So, I'm going to just pick the Flyers, but it's going to be close for sure.
I could see this series going either way, but I think I'm going to have to go with the Flyers here, just based off how good of a regular season they had. Like Chris was saying, they were really heating up towards that right before the closure happened. So I can see it going either way, but I feel like the Flyers will finally get some revenge on the Penguins. And then we have the Panthers versus the Capitals. So who do you guys have there?
I had the Capitals in that one. I don't think that the Panthers are gonna be able to match the skill set of the Capitals. Capitals have Ovi, Backstrom, Oshie, and then you got Carlson on the back end, who's just won the Norris Trophy, and then you have Brandon Hobie in the cage. So I really like the Capitals. They're stacked skill-wise, and I just don't see the Panthers, kind of matching that.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think, the Capitals, they just won a few years ago. Ovechkin out there with a lot of experience, Oshie, Backstrom, they're going to be really good. And I think that they're going to go far also. So got to go with the Capitals.
I will agree with you guys there, going with the Capitals. I do like the Panthers, but like you guys were saying, I feel like the Capitals are too stacked. They have Ovechkin, Backstrom, Carlson, all the guys you listed off. they're just a really good team, and I feel like they can beat the Panthers. And then finally, for the first round matchups, we have the Rangers versus the Lightning, rematch of the Eastern Conference Finals from a couple years back. So who do you guys have?
I like the Lightning. I don't see the Lightning getting knocked off like they did last year. I think last year was a little bit of a fluke. So they'll definitely want revenge for that, give themselves another chance at the Cup. And the Rangers are the 11 seed, so I don't really see them, kind of trying to knock off the Lightning. Again, the Lightning are another skilled team. They got Vasilevsky in the goal, Hedman, Stamkos. I don't really see the Rangers knocking them off.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. The Lightning are just too good, I think, right now. And I know, Nick, you even wanted to put them at the second seed, so I can see that too. I mean, they're going to be really good. Kucherov kind of fell off this year a little bit, but, he was unstoppable last year. So, if he kind of picks that up in that playoff mentality, I think it'll be good, and they'll be a great team.
I will agree with you guys here. I will go with the Lightning over the Rangers, despite how much I do like the Rangers this year and how much I would like to see them go really far. I just don't feel like they're good enough to beat the Lightning, who are stacked. And like you said, kind of wanting some revenge coming off what happened last year. But I will say, even though we don't have this playing out in our bracket, but I feel like if the Lightning end up playing the Panthers and they do get that number 2 seed, I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers won, just because they have Bobrovsky in net, and he shut out the Lightning multiple times last year in their playoffs and swept them. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Panthers won if we had that Battle of Florida matchup. But in our bracket, we have them beating the Rangers.
Yeah, I don't think that – they definitely wouldn't have gotten out of Tampa last year, and I think that without Bobrovsky in net for Columbus last year against the Bruins, I think that the Bruins probably would have 5, if not probably.
Yeah, I agree with you there. So now we'll move on to the second round, quote unquote. So in the West, we have the Blues versus the Oilers. So who do you guys have coming out of that one? Should be a good series.
Yeah, this is going to be a really good series. I think it's going to be tight, 6 or 7 games probably. What's going to come down to this series is if McDavid and Draisaitl can score on Binnington. Binnington on Pasta and Marchand and Bergeron last year. So maybe he can do it again and against Draisaitl and McDavid. But this series is going to be really tight, so I'm probably going to have to go – I go with the Blues. I really think that Binnington's really good.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? It's going to be close again, like you said, 6 or 7 games. But I think Binnington kind of had his crazy rookie year, and I think he's going to fall off in the playoffs. And he has all the pressure now to be great like he was. And I think that McDavid and Draisaitl will light him up. If they can get a few by him, then I think his confidence will go down, and then we'll kind of see where it goes from there. But I'll take the Oilers there.
Plus, going back to what you said before, Tommy, about I do agree that Binnington did a great job last year in the Stanley Cup Final, stopping Marchand, Bergeron, Pastrnak, all those guys. But Pastrnak was not the player he was last year that he is now. Last year in the playoffs, he dropped off significantly. So if McDavid, who people are saying is better than Pastrnak right now, and Pastrnak is on a tear right now, I wouldn't be surprised if the Oilers come out of this one in 7. I feel like if the Oilers are going to win a year, this would be the year. McDavid's on fire, like you've been saying. Draisaitl, it's just like the dynamic duo there is just absolutely insane. So I'm going to go with the Oilers in 7. It's a little bit shocking, but I will go with the Oilers in 7.
It could be, that I really don't like the Blues after what happened last year. But
yeah, I feel that too. I mean, as much as we want to see the Oilers move on, I wouldn't be surprised if the Blues won either. But I will go with the Oilers just for the heck of it.
Yeah.
All right, and then we have the the Golden Knights and the Golden Knights and the Stars, right? Is that what we have? Okay, wait.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the Avalanche got out to the Oilers. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm getting lost here. So we have Golden Knights and Stars. Who do you guys got?
I'm gonna go with the Stars. I think that they also have a lot of weapons, and Sagan, Jamie Benn, and then on defense, Klingberg and Ben Bishop in the goals. So I like the Stars beating the Knights here.
Yeah, I like the Stars for sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's much to it. I think that their first round, the one right before this would be even tougher than this one. I think that the Stars should get by relatively easy. I think it'll be like 5 games, probably. You can give, yeah.
I feel like it is going to be closer than what you're saying, Chris, but I do agree that the Stars will come out with it, like you guys said. And I'm really high not only on Sagan and Ben and those guys, but I also feel like Bishop can do really well this year after coming off kind of being banged up in the second round last year when going against the Blues. And he was really invested in that series too. He really wanted to win that one. So I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back this year with a little bit of a vengeance and brings the Stars out of the second round.
Yeah.
And then on the east side of things, we have the Bruins and the Flyers, I believe, in the second round. So who do you guys got?
I think this is a really good series. I think that the Bruins will come out of this series just because that Pasta's on a tear, and that whole line we've seen throughout the season that we had that they were just unstoppable. And if they continue, I don't think that the Flyers defense can really stop them.
Yeah. Who did we have the Flyers playing right before this?
The Penguins. Did we have them beating the Penguins?
Yeah. But
yeah, okay.
I think that they kind of would scrape by the Penguins, and then the Bruins are just a whole nother level right now. Especially like Tommy said, their whole revenge tour, and then they'll have high expectations after getting beaten Game 7 of the Cup last year. So I think those guys are just on another level right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I will agree with you guys. I will go with the Bruins. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 7 games. The Flyers are a very good team, and I feel like they had a great regular season so far. But like we've been saying, the Bruins are just on a whole nother level than the Flyers. So I will go Bruins as well. And then we have the Capitals and the Lightning in the second round. These are some good matchups. So who do we got?
Yeah, this is a really, really good match. I think this is gonna go 7 games, and I like the Capitals coming out of this series. They're kind of like that. They're always good every year, because they have Hopi and Ovechkin and Backstrom. I think that I see them kind of beating Tampa. If Hopi's unstoppable, then I don't really think that Tampa Bay will come out victorious.
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to say the Capitals too, but that's kind of like a dream matchup, where Stamkos and Kucherov going up against Ovechkin, Backstrom, and Oshie. I mean, it's going to be a tight matchup for sure, but I think the Capitals come out on top in 7 games for sure, like Tom said. It'll be tight.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I will go Capitals as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Lightning come out with it, especially since Stamkos is coming back from that injury he was dealing with from the beginning of this season. He will be back. So not hopefully, but I could see the Capitals or the Lightning, but I will go with the Capitals. I just feel like they're both really good teams.
That's kind of another reason too. I don't know. Is he like 100% back? Or he
I
says
think so, because he got injured early in the year, and they were saying like he wouldn't be back for this season. But now that games are looking to start like mid-July, it seems like he's going to be good to go.
Yeah.
But we'll just have to wait and see. This will be a totally different scenario because players haven't been playing for 2-3 months anyway. So
yeah.
All right, so in the Western Conference Final, we have the Oilers and we have the Dallas Stars, a matchup that I would never thought to have seen like 4 or 5 years ago because both of these teams were terrible. So we have the Oilers and the Stars. Who do you guys got?
This is, another kind of – I really like this matchup with Sagan and McDavid. And then I see the Stars coming out of this, especially if Ben Bishop's on his game. I think that he's a goalie that, it's very hard to get the puck through him when he's on his game. And I think that if Ben and Sagan kind of continue their path that they were on when the season stopped, I think that they'll come out victorious against the Oilers.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of dreamed of a Stars-Bruins matchup, so that would be really cool if Sagan goes up against the Bruins in the Cup. But, I think you got to go with the Stars. McDavid and Draisaitl are going to be definitely tough, because Bishop's going to have a tough time, but I think I'm going to agree with Tommy, go with the Stars.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be a very tough series. Even though we already have the Stars moving on because majority rules, I will say the Oilers just because I feel like they've gotten this far. They got past the Blackhawks. They got past the Avalanche. They got past the Stanley Cup champions, the Blues. So I feel like they've come this far. I feel like they can beat the Dallas Stars as well if McDavid and Draisaitl are tearing them through these amazing teams like the Avalanche and the Blues. I feel like they'll be able to do it to the Stars as well. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Stars won. They are a good team, like you guys said. Bishop and Net, Sagan, Klingberg, all those guys. So I will say Oilers, but we do have the Stars going to the Stanley Cup Final. Yeah. And then on the east side, we have the Bruins and the Capitals in the Eastern Conference Final. This should be really good as well. Who do you guys have?
I want to say the Bruins just because I'm from Boston. But I think this is the series is gonna go 7 games. But the Capitals just seem to have the Bruins number. I think that Holtby plays really, really well against the Bruins, and they really give them kind of a run for their money a little bit. You got Ovechkin up front with Oshie and Backstrom that kind of counters Bergeron, Marchand, and Pasternak. And then, I really think that the Capitals' physicality really will throw off the Bruins, kind of quick speed, So I think that the Capitals will come out of the series in 7 games.
Yeah, I can see that. I think it'll be close, but I think, the Capitals definitely have physicality, but the Bruins, Chara, even though he is getting old now, you can see in the regular season when these teams played, he kind of picks someone like Ovechkin or something, and he'll kind of just bully him around, and then it's tough. So I think we have that younger team kind of thing going. So I think I'm going to definitely, even though we're from Boston too, so I'm going with the Bruins. But, yeah, Pasternak being on that tear too, Bergeron, Marchand, got to go with the Bruins. But in 7 too, I would say that.
I will say that, like Tommy said, I agree that the Capitals do have the Bruins number. Any year before this year, whenever the Bruins would face them in the regular season or the playoffs, I would always be very nervous about those games because the Capitals were just a totally different team. But this year, the Bruins have just been an absolutely, just a totally different team than I've ever seen them be before, despite them being very good in past years. I feel like this is just a totally different year, and I'm not as intimidated by the Capitals anymore. I mean, Ovechkin's really good. Holtby's good. They have Carlson. They have Backstrom. They have all those guys. But I feel like the Bruins are just on a totally different level, and I could see them beating the Capitals. I wouldn't be surprised if it went to 7 games, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if the Bruins won maybe in 6, maybe even in 5, something like that. It's just the Bruins are a very good team. I do think the Capitals are really good. I think it will be a very tight series, but I do see the Bruins coming out with the win.
Yeah, the most recent time they played in Boston, I was there, and the Capitals, I mean, they won the game, but they squeezed by. They scored. Oshie had a buzzer beater with a couple seconds left, and they sent it to overtime, and then they won a shootout. So I think, it's going to be really close, but the Bruins let up at the end of the game, I think they got too overconfident, and I don't think they'll do that now if they end up playing each other then.
Yeah, the Bruins shootout record was abysmal this year, so
yeah,
it's good to not have shootout in the playoffs. So yeah, I feel like the Bruins will come out with the win as well. So in the Stanley Cup Final, we have Bruins and we have Stars. Sagan facing off against his old team. Who do you guys got?
I got the Bruins here. I think that one thing that will really help the Bruins this year is the amount of rest that Tuukka Rask has gotten, both in the regular season when, you have that dual threat of Halak and Rask. I really like that and how Rask he really thrives on when he has rest. You saw when he is in there every night, he doesn't really do as well as people would like him to in the playoffs. So I think that that rest will benefit the Bruins. And yeah, I see the Bruins and their offensive weapons that we've talked about. I really see them coming out and winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you. I mean, especially if they get all the way to the finals, which, the West are pretty tough too, but that Eastern Conference is just solid this year. So if they get all the way there, I don't think they're going to let it up again, I can see them pulling away. So I love Sagan, but got to go with the Bruins.
I will agree with you both. I will also go Bruins, and what a way to cap it off, because last year, as much as I wanted them to win the Cup, I felt like it would have been too easy because of our second and third round matches. We were just kind of against easier teams, I would say. But this year, if we go the route that we are predicting against the Capitals, the Flyers, and the Maple Leafs, who are all 3 very, very, very good teams, I feel like the Bruins will win the Stanley Cup, and it'll be a well-deserved Stanley Cup win for the Bruins. So, yeah, we'll go Bruins.
Yep. And I hope they play Halak too, like Tommy said, not just Rask. I hope they have that dual matchup type of thing where they can give the other guy rest, because he really did prove himself this year in the regular.
I agree with you there, because last year in the Stanley Cup Final, when Rask was on a downfall at, I think it was game 3 or 4, something like that, I wanted them to start Halak because, I feel like Rask and Halak are definitely the best duo of goaltenders in the league by far. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they start Halak in a game or 2 here and there, especially in that round robin. I wouldn't be surprised if they start Halak in 2 out of 3 of those games. So, yeah, I would love to see that dual goalie tandem too. But, yeah, I feel like the Bruins are just a really good team.
Yeah.
All right, so with the predictions, we have the Bruins winning the Stanley Cup, the President's Trophy winners coming away with the Stanley Cup. So the hometown team gets to win it from us. So, yeah, thanks so much for joining me, guys. I really appreciated you guys coming on for this. It was a really good episode with predictions, and we're all looking forward to having some hockey back in our lives at this time of the virus. So, yeah, thanks for joining me.
Yeah,
And,
thank you.
yeah, All right, so thanks for watching, everybody. From ACMi Sports, I'm Nick Antonakis, and we'll see you on the next one. All right, take care, everybody.